YouTube family, Denise from the Little Sewing Room, here to let you see what my first project that I made as I stand up and go on a journey of 365 days, no fabric purchases. No fabric purchases from the regular stores, my craft stores, no fabric purchases through thrift malls or thrift shops. I am going to do a no fabric purchase 365 days. I'm not waiting for the new year. I've started now. And if you'd like to join me in this challenge, just put a comment below. The first thing that I've done is I've went through a box of, well, it was one of 8 boxes where I just throw random scraps in, and I pulled out something and I said, I'm gonna make something. The first thing that comes to mind. And the first thing that came to mind was a journal cover. I love fabric journal covers. I love journaling, and because I am a textile person who likes to make things with fabric, I said, let me make a new journal cover. And so I grabbed the fabric, and I want to show you how I did it, the process. It's quick, has one pattern. I only use what I had in the house. So I'm not going to give you any further explanation. I'll just show you. So don't forget, at the end of the video, like and subscribe. Tell others. Think about joining a challenge. If not this one, maybe a mini challenge of not purchasing and being more sustainable with what you have and more grateful for what you have, because I am grateful for all the fabric that I already have and I'd like to use it. So I want to join me. The clip is gonna start now. Okay, so here is the inspiration, a journal that I made out of fabric. I use knit fabric, and I use some mock leather and gold foil. I lined it with a woven fabric, and I did a quilt binding, and I'm a quilter, so yeah. And it fits my A5 books for my journals. Ta-da! So that's the inspiration. So I went to the scraps, because I'm going to use what I got. And what I found and what I have is this lovely cotton. This was in my scrap. Cotton tiger print. This piece of blue shirting. And this was from a shirt that I thrifted, and I purchased it for something. I'm going to put those two prints together. I'm going to reach off a little out of camera here. And I also had already, from making previous journal covers, Pellon single-sided fusible ultra firm stabilizer. And I had some sheets pre-cut. 1, 2, 3, already there. Didn't have to go buy it. And I got a big sheet for even if I want to do more. So I had that. I went in my pattern location and dug up the template for making the cover. And I am going to do the cover slightly different. This one has a fold over edge for the binding, and this one has an edge to edge, no fold over. And I use this cover to keep my sewing manuals and camera manuals close at hand. So I want to make one like this, where there is no fold over binding. It's all smooth edge. And the goal is to get that nice square corners. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So that's using everything that's on hand. So I lay my pattern, my template, right on the cloth, which I cut extra big, maybe a ½ inch bigger than what it should be. And I lay it down, and I'll take a ruler, and for on camera I'm going to use a pencil, but I will take a disappearing ink fabric marker, and I'll draw a line on the edge of the cardboard here from one end of the fabric to the other, and I'll do the same on the opposite short side. I'm leaving the longer side untouched. So that's the first start of getting this beautiful penny. Then I'm just going to staple pin those edges and go to the machine, and I'm going to stitch here and here on that line that I've drawn. All right, give me a second here and position this, and I'm going to stitch it right on the line that I drew. And I'm just using a knotted stitch. And I'm going to go over here and, where is it? And do the same on this side. I like to trim my threads as I go along and try to corral them so I don't have threads all over the floor. That doesn't always work. And then I'm going to open up. I've created like a tube with the outer and the lining. And I'm going to go to press my seam allowance towards the lining and do an edge stitch, so that I'm stitching down the lining and the seam allowance and making a nice flat seam. Edge stitching is where you stay a scant distance from the edge of the fold, and I use my hands to slightly pull the fabric so that I know I'm not getting any tuck in my stitching. I'm going to just manipulate my fabric to the other side, get it up under that presser foot, and do the exact same thing once again. Go. Done. I'm going to turn it inside out and let you see. I have now made a tube. There we go. That's my tube. And I've edge stitched here and here. And what that will do is it'll help the lining to stay inside, so that when you look at my tube, all you see is the lovely woo print. Now, I am going to go back and trim this bit of seam allowance. I'm going to use my duckbill scissors. I am left-handed. These are for right-handed people, so you can have a little joke as you sit here and see that I use the feature that makes it better to cut and not accidentally cut the underside or wrong side of the fabric backwards, because that's all I can do. I've tried to do it this way, so that I would make sure I wouldn't cut and I can get a nice close cut. There we go. By turning them upside down. And let me demonstrate that again. You take, well, see, this is the way I cut. If I turn this way, the bill is where it should be, but it's very uncomfortable. So, being a lefty, I just don't get just don't worry about it. Here we go. Okay, so what I have done is trim that seam allowance nice and tight, and that also eliminates the bulk. And I'm going to press this right where I want it, so that I know if you see this lovely blue shirting, you don't see the wild African print. Okay, so I'm going to do that and be right back at you. Start video. All right, so we'll take it in. I don't want all these strings, because these strings will show up once they get fused in there. Okay. My goal is to put it in place and leaving seam allowance on both edges here. This is what I call my seam allowance right there. Roll it. Come on. Make sure I got the fusible side up. Yep. Bring it over to the opposite side. Now, seam, it's got to be tight. That's the whole point of it. There we go. Now I got it tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Because all of this is going to be fused down, flat. And you want a nice firm cover. Turn it over. Double check. Make sure you got extra fabric here and extra fabric here. Because we're going to do the turn under. And this is how we're going to get a nice square piece of fabric to work with. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to press this, fuse it down in place, and come back and show you the finishing steps. Okay, slight snafu. When you use the single-sided fusible ultra-firm stabilizer, follow the general directions that are on the little sheet. I always say that, and everything goes fantastic. Well, I had this Pelon stored for over 30 days in a moving van when I moved from one destination cross country to another. And apparently the fusible glue was deactivated, so it didn't stick. But I still got a lovely, smooth press out. It just, the stabilizer is not sticking, which helps with the next step, but it doesn't stop me. So that may be one issue you'll come across in using your own stash. Things have sat around. If you put something in your stash and you didn't properly clean it, you've got a yellow mark on it or something, you got to do some preemptive work to get it right back up. But this happened, and it didn't stick like I wanted it to, but it's okay. I'm still going to get my journal cover out of it. So here's what the next step is. The next step is to trim off just a wee bit of the fabric above the stabilizer, so that when you fold in, you're going to have 1/4. And I'm going to go to the iron and press that, because normally I have the fact that the stabilizer is all stuck to give me a guide, but this time things might move. So I'm going to stop the camera, of course, press it and come back and show you how I'm going to keep moving forward. Okay, I've pressed down the long edge where it just touches the fusible, non-fusible for me now, stabilizer. So I pressed it down, going to the lining side. And here's what I'm going when I say, I don't want all of this excess under there. I just want about 1/4 of an inch. So I am going to eyeball it from the fold and cut it 1/4 of an inch above that fold line, all the way across. Nice and even. Yep, looks good. Now I'm not going to cut this side yet, but what I am going to do on this side is, because I no longer have that option of that stabilizer being good, is I'm going to add some pins right on that crease to hold this fabric in place while I work on the opposite side. There we go. Because what I don't want this to do is pull this down this way. All right, now, so that's what that does. That just keeps it all nice and smooth. I'm going to turn over and look and make sure my outer is nice and smooth. It is. I am going to go in and refold the lining towards the edge of the pella. Okay, I'm going to refold it right to the edge. That's where I want it. Right there. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm going to finger press it because I left my other presser. Now I'm going to bring it up to the camera to see if it'll focus in. You see how you can barely see it? I'm going to move it back. Normally I wouldn't be able to move this because it would be glued. So I'll move it back so you can see how close I am. And I'm going to just fold that like that all the way across until I get to the edge. Bring it in. Fold it right up there. I want to make that corner nice and sharp. Bring that right to that edge. I'm finger pressing it. And see, if I hadn't pinned it right here, this would keep sliding up. So this way it keeps it from sliding up. Keeps my edge true. There we go. There we go. There we go. All the way across. All the way across. Now, look at that corner. You see how I got that so it's going to make a nice sharp edge? That's the thing that really makes or break the look of your final product. And there we go. When I get over here, I'm going to go in, bring it in, and do the same thing. I want to get that corner right up in there. Oh, I did do it right. Take your time. Enjoy the process as much as the project. Okay. And I got it. There we go. It's all in there. And I finger press it down. It's nice and smooth. And then I'm simply going to go back and bring the fashion fabric or the outer fabric over and tuck it in under. Just like that. See? Now, so that I can bring it up to the camera, I'm going to put a pin here just so I can show you what I'm tucking it into. And I'm trying to get the smallest pins that I can show. Okay. I tucked it under. You see that little bit of fabric comes over and it's a little bit higher so that on the front side you do not see the lining. That's how you make it. That's how you want to do it. Okay, let me go in and I'm going to use as many pins as I need to get this the way I want. And my goal, nice sharp square corner, no lining peeking out. I hate to stop the camera, but I can maybe do it with this. I want this to stay nice and up under there. Can you see what I just did? I took my ruler, which was sitting right there, and I just pushed that in to make that fabric go up under there and keep my corner nice and straight. There we go. Keep my corners nice and straight. And bring that fabric up. I want it just there. Now, this by no means is a fast working project, because I am going to hand stitch this. Do not be afraid. I am going to hand stitch this because I've done it by top stitching it with the machine, and it just is not my, doesn't give me the final look that I want. And you can go ahead and top stitch it. Yes, not a problem. But I top stitch after I hand stitch, because I want that smooth corner. I want those square corners in this rectangle that I'm creating. It's very important. And I don't get them as well when I just simply just go in there and top stitch it. You can baste it. You can baste it. I'm going to move this out. Oh, pins. Move this, and I'm going to use this ruler again to put this fabric in and make sure that it is creating the corner I want. There's a little bit of bulk there. There. You can't see it, but I just made it go down by using that ruler. And I want to make sure that that fabric is right on the edge of that pylon fusible. So, I still have not purchased anything. Yay! But I did tell a friend about my challenge who did not know about it or hadn't seen the Instagram post, and she promptly donated me some fabric. And I looked at her and I said, did you get the right idea of what I'm trying to do here? She said, oh yeah, but you said you weren't gonna buy nothing. I'm donating this. That's crafter's love. That's crafter's love. That's crafter's love. Okay? Alright, let me show you what I got. I've got that, and you can see there's a scant of the what is that, a zebra? Tiger print. You can see it on the opposite side when I stitch it in. But you can't see that blue from the outside. That's what's going to get them to say, oh, girl, you didn't do that. You didn't make that. Oh, yes, I did. Now, if you feel like it, and I'll speed it up, I will do the hand stitching stitch. And I'll show you the very small needle that I'm going to do and how I position it on my lap to do it. So let's get ready for that. Okay. All right. This is my needle. It is a hand stitching quilting needle. See how small it is? It's my finger. See how small that needle is? That's what I use. And I'm going to use standard thread, so machine thread. Right. And I'm going to use standard thread. And I'm going to thread the needle. I still got it, y'all. I still got it. Turn this off so you don't get that. Alright. And I'm not going to take a lot of thread, because I've learned over the years, it's not the amount of thread you put in the needle, it's how well you know how to use it. And I'm going to use single strand, because I will do a top stitching on this when I'm done. But what you see me doing now is I'm feeling for the twist of the thread. Sometimes when I thread, I forget. If it feels rough, I don't want that. I want the softness. When it feels soft in my hand, that's what I want to be drawing through as I stitch. I'm going to make a small knot. That's just wrapping the thread around a couple times. I'm going to make a loop one. Okay, I'm ready to go. Not too much thread, just a little. Because I don't want to have a lot of tangles. Okay, this, I'm left-handed. What I'll do is I'll go in and take a small bite of fabric closest to the corner that I can get. And where is it? Ugh. And I'm going to reach in with my stiletto, and I'm going to push that excess thread into the seam area. Just pushing the excess thread into the seam area, hiding the tail and everything. And I'm using black thread because I'm going to make a very small stitch. Can you see how tiny that is? Get as close to the camera as you can, Denise. See how tiny that is? Small stitch. Make sure, because I am a stickler for those corners looking nice. And I'm only going through the lining and a little bit of the outer fabric. And as I'm stitching this, I might change my mind and switch to white thread. Let me see. Okay, let me look at my corner. Oh, corner's nice. No, I think the black will work because it's going to be like little dots all the way along here, just little dots. Okay, I'm going to bring it back up again and show you just how much of a bite I am making onto that stitch. See that little bite? And that's going to go all the way across this edge. I'm going to do it on camera right now, and then of course I'll speed it up because it takes a bit of time, and that does not bother me. And I hate speeding up sometimes because people get the idea that this doesn't, that they can do it real quickly, but you can't. You have to pay attention and take your time and do this. That's how small that stitch is. Okay? And you do that all the way across and knot it off at the end, and then you turn it over, lay it down, and do the same thing to the opposite side. Cutting it off to a scant inch, making sure everything lies smooth and flat. All right, I got this side done. See how small those stitches are? See? Doesn't show in front. Nice. Our goal is nice square corners. Because sometimes when you sew in the bulk, you get round corners. I want square. Okay? I'm going to do the exact same thing to the opposite side. I've already got it pinned. I'm going to thread up my needle, single thread, and do that little bitty prick stitch it's not a prick stitch, slip stitch all the way across. And my cover will be ready. Let's check it. Nice and square. Yay! Okay, nice and square. And I will go in, give it a good press again, center it up, and start adding my grommets, eyelets for my elastic. And I have the elastic that I purchased, and it's still good, so I'll get some of that out of my stash. Now, I haven't bought anything yet, and of course, the inside books are books that I've already made. Okay, so here is my completed piece, and it's nice and square. All right, looks good on the inside. Ooh, I didn't put a label on it. And fold it in half. Yeah, that's gonna make a nice book cover, like. All right, so because the fusible web did not work, even though I got it in, I would like to stabilize this a little more. So I'm going to, this is the book that I use for keeping my, I'm going to do, and I don't know if this is going to show up. I'll try to get it to shadow. There you go. Do some creative stitching just to bind all my pieces together and keep it so that it'll have the effect that I want for a cover. But that's going to be a nice book cover. Let me see. Find a book in here. These are, yeah. That's about 85. It's a little smaller, but that's gonna be a nice book cover. That is nice. So I could do some creative stitching following the pattern of the tiger design, or I'll just stitch around and just do some random stitching. And I think that's what I'll do. And if you're doing this pattern, go ahead and get yours together, and then, you know, pick up the tape when I show you how I put in the eyelets for the elastic, and then it's done. It is done. All right, so as I said earlier, because the fusible benefit of this didn't work, I'm going to do some stitching. So I'm going to edge stitch first, and this is me edge stitch. I'll try to speed this up so it won't go fast. I'm going to edge stitch all the way around, even though, you hear me, I did stitch it here, but I'm going to edge stitch it anyway. I've decided to sort of mimic the tiger print. So I'm just going to be freehanding it. I'll do this corner here, and then I'll turn it around and let you see what I have. I got black thread on the top and white on the bottom. And I have to admit, it's This is very liberating. And because I am nitpicker about things, I went and I restitched that final stitching over the first stitching, so you won't know where I began and I ended. Let me turn it over. Now, get it there. I'm making it shadow so that you can see it. So see, that's going to stabilize this for me, plus create a little texture. And I think I'll start right here. And get right about there. And you don't have to fill it up. You don't have to stitch really close. You can stitch at least a ½ inch apart or so. Piece of thread right here. And I am really freehanding this. Let me just let you see what I've done thus far, and even without speeding it up. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if I can get that light to hit it. Trying. Oh, you can see a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna keep on filling it out. Okay, I think I'd like to start, and I'm going to always overlap. That way I don't have to back stitch. If I get any really long tails on my work, I will take a needle, thread it, and pull the tails in out of the way. Going to feed that one in. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I have stabilize the back, and I'm going to try to let you see how I did it. Sometimes it'll show if I get the camera in the shadows just right. Yeah. and you can kind of see some of the new black threads. All right, so it's nice and flat, rectangle, square, and ready for part 2. So we did all our stitching. That didn't take long. So all I have to do is mark where my eyelets will go, and they'll be on the fold area, 1/4 of an inch from the bottom and 1/4 of an inch from the top. I will put my first eyelet, and then about 1/4 of an inch I'll put the second one, and do the same on the bottom, 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and then my next one, and then in the very center I'll put my last. So that's 5 eyelets you're going to need. I keep calling them grommets, but it's eyelets that you're going to need. So I have to do that off camera because I live in a place where you can't go around banging. So I got to go someplace and do that and come back and show it to you. And if you buy, now I'm not buying anything because I got plenty. But if you buy them at it's like Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby, the directions on how to do them comes in, and they usually come with a little setter and everything. So I am going to I'm going to use my punch and punch the holes where I want them to go. So I'll punch 2 holes here, 2 holes here, and 1 dead center. And then I'll insert my grommets. I'll insert my eyelets. I got grommets under mine. Okay, I'll insert my eyelets. So stop camera, coming back. I'm going to show you my cutters. And it just shows, I have, most crafters, we got it all. We don't need anything new. But I got these right here at the Daiso store in Japan, Tokyo. And they were like $1.30 each. So I picked them up and packed them in my suitcase and brought them home. So I have those for whenever I am doing circle cuts. And then this little jar is eyelets that I've had off and on for years. And for some reason I got 2 jars with more colorful ones. So I'm going to see if I can find 5 gold ones in this collection of eyelets. I am not going to the store to buy it. If I can't find 5 gold ones, I will take maybe no, that won't go. Black 1, black 2, black 3. Okay, is there any blacks in this one? They can all go in the same jar. Let's see. No, there's plenty of silver. So here's another black one. There are 5 black ones. There we go. Okay. Hopefully I won't mess up. Okay, so that's all I need is 5. I'm gonna put the rest right back in this one jar. Okay, now I got an empty jar here, and I'll probably use that for some other craft items. Vanilla extract jars, great jars for storing things. I love glass, and I need I believe I use this size. And I will slide these back in here because they are heavy, forged steel. And if I drop it down in there, it could break the jar. And to mark the center back, I am going to use the easiest technique. I've got a crease, and then I'm going to fold it in half this way, and I'm going to put a pin right there where the intersection meets. There we go. So that's where my middle grommet will go. Right there. And then I will mark or measure up a 1/4 of an inch here. That's where my first bottom grommet will go, and a 1/4 of an inch here, and that's where my, I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna say edge. So I've marked the place where my edges will go, and I'm gonna just eyeball it. So that marks where everything goes. So to do it right, I'll just use this, a hammer and my block of wood, and punch my holes in there. Like I said, I have to do that off camera because I live in an apartment and just can't go around punching. All right, it's time to finish up. Here is my cover. I've got the grommets in, and I did mess up 2 of the black ones, so I replaced with a gold one and a gold one, and then the black, and the black one came in the center. I do want to show you, I haven't had to go out to get anything, and usually we think we do. Here are the tools that I also use to put the grommets in. Right here in this little container was everything I needed, and even my hammering stone, so I didn't make as much noise as I thought I was going to make. So I'm glad that that was all there. Okay. My roll of elastic, which I purchased on Amazon. And I took apart the books out of my other book so that I could see how to do the elastic, because I definitely could not remember how to do it. It's been a while. Okay, so I measured my elastic by going 1, 2. That would be 1 thread, and I want enough for 2 books. So I'll fold it in half. Let me make sure. 1, 2. That's going to be enough for 2. And I'll cut a little extra, so I'll be able to tie my knot. And let me see. You go around twice because there's only 1 knot. So here we go. I kind of remember how to do it. I think I go from the right side to the bottom to the top, take the other one, top. Now I'll do the exact opposite. I'll go top eyelet, bottom eyelet, bottom eyelet. This is with the second threading. And bottom again, and outer. Okay. Now this is okay. Now I remember something that I did wrong. I got it threaded correctly, but I want my knot on the back cord. So I'm gonna take it a loose right quick. And do like this. Take this one. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Here. No, I gotta end up. Okay, so we're gonna go here, top. You might have to do it a couple of times to get it right too, but once you get it, you got it. Okay, bottom, bottom, and okay, we went both of these. How do I make sure? I know you make sure you make it absolutely even. Here, here. Okay, that's done here once. I'm forgetting I have to go through everything twice. Da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Once. Da-da-da. Tighten it up a little bit. Okay, so I've got the grommets in, and I've got my elastic positioned, and it'll take you a couple of tries to get the elastic in. It took me a couple of tries. I went off camera and I finally did it. And so the best thing I say is go ahead and try it. Leave it a little snug so it curls like that. I've cut a separate strand for going around the book. Alrighty, and I'm going to just tie that in a knot. There we go. And I'll trim it in a minute, but I want to make sure. I might, oh, that's too tight. Too tight. I don't want it so tight that the elastic stretches out very quickly. So I'm just going to pull this knot loose. Just like that. Loosen it up a little bit. There we go. And okay, loosen it up. Loosen it up just a tinch. There we go. There we go. And slide it up some, because I really wanted to come out to the edge of the folder of the cover. There we go. That's good. Now, with that kind of curl, I have two books that I thrifted. Da-da-da-da. And I didn't have to buy because they were already in my stash. So so far, this 365-day thing is showing me that I've got a lot of value in my house, in my craft. So I'm gonna put one there. This one is really nice and thick. It's got a lot of pages. I don't even know how many. Did it tell me? No. I absolutely love journaling. There we go. Okay. And see, that straightens out the elastic. All right. There we go. Two books in there. I got a nice coverage around the back. Move that out of my way. Take this out of the way, you can see it. Turned out really great. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. 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 All right. It's got enough swag. I might take that and make it a little bit snugger. Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to do it right here on camera with you. Make it just a little tighter. That's easy to do. It's easier to do because all I do is loosen the knot up a bit. And there we go. It's nice and loose. And then I'm going to roll it down. Oh, a little loose. right? There is my tiger print traveler's notebook cover, a A5 size, nice and square, using fabric. Sometimes it's hard to get it, and I think that for me, the game changer was to go ahead and take the time to hand stitch that long edge. So I'm loving it. I didn't put my label on the back. Oh, that's okay. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me hear your comments. Thank you for staying to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me again on YouTube and on Instagram, The Little Sewing Room, YouTube at Denise Reed Sew For You, and watch me as I take this journey. And I'd be happy for any friends who would like to come along. Bye-bye. I'll take that as my closing.